Hi, you guys. This is Paola. I'm going to interview a formal teacher, Mr. Randall. Can you present yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Kyler Randall. I'm a teacher at Federal Way High School. I was born in Bellingham, Washington, and went to school and high school there. And then I went to college at Eastern Washington University outside of Spokane. This is my 5th year teaching at Federal Way High School, and then I worked abroad in Barcelona and Honduras for a year or two as well. Yeah, that can be tough sometimes. I taught middle school for like a year, and that was hard. Middle schoolers are so immature. I mean, high schoolers aren't always the most mature, but the thing I love about high school is you can have conversations with the students, right? They're not adults, but they're closer, and so they're able to have some more mature conversations, and they're doing a lot in their lives and making a lot of decisions, and it's a really important time for them. And so I think high school, you can have a big impact, but you can also have some really good conversations with students about their own choices and their life. And so I like that aspect of it, and I like the content, because teaching high schoolers, right, you deal with a little more challenging content, and you can discuss more serious issues and more challenging things going on in the world. So that's always a bonus in high school. When I first got there, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I had really good grades and stuff in high school, but I wasn't like decided on a career. I originally kind of wanted to study business, but I didn't really know what that meant. And then I wanted to study to be a pharmacist, because I had a cousin who was a pharmacist, and he made a lot of money, and so I thought that would be cool. But I worked for him for a summer. I was like, nah, that's not really what I want to do. So I kind of just kept taking classes, and then ultimately kind of went in the direction of education, because I enjoyed school, and I enjoyed like working with youth, and I wanted to have a job where I would have like an impact in lives, and so I thought that would be a place where I could do that. But it took me a couple of years, or really into my sophomore year, to kind of figure out like what I wanted to do as far as a degree and a career that way. Well, I really enjoyed my history classes, and so I was like, well, how can I use that as something to kind of find a career? And I enjoyed social studies and some of my sociology classes and things like that. So one way to do that was through teaching. My father was a teacher, and so for a long time I didn't want to be a teacher, because I was like, well, I don't want to do what my dad does. But then I kept kind of looking at different options and found that I actually kind of liked a lot of that stuff. And it was important for me to like find a job that I felt like had an impact, and I thought that with teaching I could do that. And I thought it would allow me to be able to travel and have some freedom too, with a little more time in the summer and things like that. So that's kind of how I ended up in education. Yeah, I mean, just time-wise, finding and deciding what I wanted to do. I spent a lot of time just like looking at different majors, and like computer science was really big back then, but I didn't really know a lot about computers. It was just like, well, everyone's majoring in computer science, and maybe I'd be rich and working for Microsoft or something. But that wasn't really my skill set either. It wasn't where I was. So I kind of wanted to find something I was good at, but also was something I enjoy. And I kind of looked at different things, and mostly the setbacks were just kind of decisions and decision making. I didn't want to choose the wrong major or something and waste my time, but I also didn't want to end up in a career that I thought would be boring. Clearly I didn't choose a career that would pay me as much, but that's something that I kind of thought about, like in the sense of, I want to be able to support myself and things like that, but money wasn't something I thought about a lot. Something that I would have liked to have done a little earlier, even if just like a summer trip or volunteering somewhere. All those kinds of things I think are really important and valuable, especially in that time in your life, to get another view of how people live and just kind of open your eyes to different options. Like kind of find where your skills meet with your interests, right? It's tough to choose a career where you don't have any skills because it'll be a struggle, but you also don't want to end up in a career that you don't enjoy. So it's kind of a balance of finding something that you would like to do and mixing that with something that you're kind of good at, but also don't feel like a career has to be forever, right? Like you can go do something for some years and then transition into something else, right? Like we see that happening more and more in our society today. So don't feel like whatever you pick is going to be your job for the next 30 years, but more look at it as like a jumping off point, somewhere you're willing to start before you transition into something else. But find something that you can do something with, right? Which is hard because sometimes like your favorite classes are not necessarily things that can get you a job right away, right? But you also need to have like some sort of marketable skills so when you graduate you can find employment, and take care of yourself, and then keep looking at things that pursue your interests. I've seen people from every walk of life be able to go and be successful in college, through kind of that perseverance and hard work, but just kind of creating a support system for yourself so you have people around you that are also like working at college and working to graduate. That definitely makes it easier.
I would like to thank Tyler Randall. And thank you for watching my interview with Mr. Randall.
And Paolo was a wonderful student in high school.